Hey, what is up, everybody? What's up? Um, Hold on. All right, there we go. Hey, so actually, let me do it like this. Let me do it like this. Let me do it like this. I got y'all can't see me as well, but I fucked up. So it's not like I didn't post tomorrow. I said I post like every day, either a short video or a live stream. Something of the sort to keep the streak going at least for a week. This is day 3 now. But I messed up. So if you didn't see it in the stream today, I'm not gonna post it obviously because this is gonna be the replacement stream of that stream. I deleted it. So long story short, I spent like an hour and a half, or maybe or an hours, speaking on a video that I'm about to play for y'all right now. This will be my third time watching this video, my third time doing a video for this video, and it being, it's a lot going on. But the point is, I messed up. It's nothing y'all could done. The video wasn't showing on the screen, and I didn't notice it until it was too late. And obviously, I'm a small time streamer. I acknowledge that like there's not that many people in my chat, if it's any at all. It's fine, it's just the grind, it's part of the grind. So I didn't get ego by that. But I was just like, bro, like I felt like I poured my heart and soul into that until like discussion. It wasn't like a pretty discussion or anything like that. It wasn't like, oh my god, it's a high quality discussion. But at least I felt like I made some good points, and I kind of showed like my love for Avatar was in it, which I really like. I really care about like Avatar and shit like that. So I felt like I was actually like, I know it's like he's not really there. We're not really having a debate. I'm having a review on his video, right? So it's not like I won anything, but I felt like I was like, handling it, deciphering it well, and pointing out points, that were valid and stuff like that. And then it's all that hard work going down the drain, something like that. But it is what it is. You have to bounce back. Not every stream is gonna be a 10 out of 10. Something I have to learn about the streamer, about being a streamer is just check, make sure your shit is in check, in gear. It's working. It's actually like appearing on screen, I'm like that. I mean, I'm not on tech savvy, but I'm what's the streaming shit. I'm not like used to it yet. I should be, but I'm not. I should be watching some more videos. Anyway, that being said, I already took too much of your time. Let's get into the real meat and potatoes and watch this video. For me, again, for y'all, hopefully it's the first time. Um, Again, I'll be destructing. I will be deconstructing his arguments again. Hopefully I remember all what I had yesterday, but if I don't, it's okay. As long as I get the main point across. So let's go back to the live scene and let's get this video done. Okay, and it's this one. Nope, it's this way. It's always this way. So we go this. All right. Without further ado, again, I say this every time. Just by making the story better, shout out to him or her or them or whoever did the video. Again, I like this video. It's entertaining for the most part. I believe that there's little to no validity to it. So yeah, and I know it's like, oh yeah, you're talking about. Listen. We're talking about cartoons. I'm a cartoon and anime channel, bro. I'm a cartoon and anime channel, bro. That's literally what I'm gonna talk about. If it's cartoon or anime related, I'm gonna talk about it. That's what I made this channel for. So anything else, just gotta get out the way. Now I do have a few exceptions. I have an exception clause. It's called an Article 4-90. It's called RDC clause. Any one of those videos is fair game. So yeah, any one of RDC's videos is fair. It's from any Juice World video is also the exception. But other than that, everything else has to either do to animation. Usually it's just animation in general. It's not just like Western cartoons or American cartoons and Japanese cartoons. It's really just animation in general. So you got some Sugoi or Suga. Got any Chinese animation, any European animation, any animation in general, right? So yeah, that's what this channel's about. So without further ado, let's get to the video. And I'm really just gonna, now that I already have I got this down to a science basically. Well, hopefully I do. But you're gonna see here. I'm just gonna put a video.
I love Avatar. No.
Wait, why can't I? I can hear it. That's the thing. Hold on. I want to switch. Oh, maybe I should switch it back because I can hear myself. But maybe. My desktop audio. I don't know. Maybe this does it. I'm not sure if this does it. But what I wanted to do. Let's see.
Not that one. And definitely not that one either.
No, that's not what I wanted to do.
Either. I mean the true Avatar.
Nope. I guess I don't know what I'm doing, chat, because no, because I want it's desktop audio, and I want that to be played inside my headset. I don't want. Where is this? Monitor output device audio monitoring. What does that do? Okay, never mind. We don't watch this. Okay, so we just have to do it like this. I wanted to hear it inside my. Maybe it doesn't. Sorry, chat. Technical difficulties. I'll suffer for it. Okay, it's whatever, bro. There's not like the mic that can pick it up, and that's. Hold on. Let's see if I can fix this. Mobile settings. Mute output, monitor output. Monitor and output.
The one that appears to be just another child's cartoon, but has more.
Okay, I'm just not gonna get what I want. Okay, chat. I'm not gonna get what I want. Until no, he's gonna do it right now. It's gonna be forced scholarship. I didn't come here. I came here to just debate him, bro. But whatever. I mean, debate that him. Whatever, bro. Let's go.
The entire MCU.
That's not true, chat.
I only speak the truth. The truth that
Alright.
cut his entire character arc in a severe way. The truth that Katara and Zuko's marriage would have been a symbol of forgiveness and healing. The truth that Katara is taller than Aang. I only speak the truth, and the truth will set you free.
Woo! Toph, you rule.
Oh, okay. I'm gonna be stopping this video every time he kind of makes a point that I can like attack. And again, no, like I'm not trying to ego this guy necessarily. I don't have any, hostility to this guy. I'm sure he's a stand-up dude or whatever he is, whatever he identifies or whatever he identifies as. Oh, they, she, whatever. But I just think he's just wrong. Like I don't think he's dumb. I just think his points are dumb. That's what I'm gonna say. So in case this gets out, I never, I don't have anything. I don't have any beef with him.
Aang's story starts off as a boy who loves to play. He's your
Really?
stereotypical
Let's see
easygoing
if I can
kid
fix
who has
that.
a big heart for all things living, and perhaps a bigger
I don't know.
heart for adventure. He quickly develops a third defining characteristic, his infatuation for Katara. This infatuation continues to blossom and grow as he continues to go on adventures with her and Sokka. She initially doesn't feel the same way though. Why would she? She's like 10 years older than him in emotional intelligence and maturity. So
Yeah.
much so that she clearly sees herself as a big sister to him. Perhaps even more like a mother. He's just too silly, too absent-minded, and hasn't had the same life that she has had. You see, Aang grew up different.
Technically, it was.
His whole life he's known nothing but fun, and it's only until very recently he's begun to see how cruel life can be. And even when he finds out that his entire nation was wiped out, he takes it in stride, a little too much in stride. Maybe it's because 99% of his life he has known nothing but joy, and so he has something to fall back on. For whatever the reason, though, the trauma doesn't seem to stick. Katara, though, well, she saw her mother dead as a little girl from a vicious soldier. She then lost her father for years to the war effort. She was left to pick up the pieces with Sokka and help take care of a village in a war-ravaged southern water tribe. That is her childhood. One cruelly marked by the effects of war, and although she bears no physical scar, it's clear that the Fire Nation has left its mark. She clearly matures from these events, so much so that she in essence becomes Sokka's big sister. So like I said before, Katara and Aang are simply not the same in maturity. Okay, so big deal.
Okay, so this is my first point. If you heard me say, that's what I think. I just don't know if it's getting close. Let's see if y'all hearing this, because I'm already messed up the stream once. I don't want to do it again.
Deal.
I just want to see
men
if
are as mature as their girlfriends or wives. Not many, I admit, but how many men date girls that act like their moms? Better yet, how many girls want to raise their husbands or boyfriends?
That's my problem. Like, it's only appearing because that's what I don't like. Audio mixer, audio mic. I don't want it to talk over me. You know, it's just like, I'm sorry. I should have set this up earlier, but I just didn't think it was a problem right now. Okay, open stream. Let's click the setting cog to the audio maker. I believe that's something. I went over up here. We can adjust the most permanent audio settings. Okay, he's just talking about this probably, but I don't know how. Maybe it's better if I can't hear myself though. Hold on, y'all. Hold on. So. Hold on, if I. Sorry, y'all. I'm just.
Grows in love for Katara.
Okay, I get that, why that is, but my thing is. I mean, I'm still talking. Maybe it's better this way. I can't hear myself talk though. Okay, maybe I'll do it this way because it seems to be recording the sound, so it's better than nothing. It's better than you having the audio, having a conflict with the video's audio and my audio. So I'll just do it this way. I'll fix it later. Okay, back to it.
But he's still a boy who loves to play, and he has some serious ground to cover before he's ready for Fire Lord Ozai, and before he's ready to give Katara the kiss of battle. So the squad goes on their adventures. They all develop in skill and in maturity. They grow as a team, and their bond as Team Avatar becomes stronger. When everything seems to be progressing in favor of the Aang and Katara ships sailing off into the sunset of love, the story throws us a curveball.
What? Why would I let go of Katara?
You must learn to let go.
It's unbelievable. It's in this moment we truly begin to empathize. We mourn with him, for he is but a boy displaced in time, who lost his people and who carries the burden of the world at a young age. And and now he must forego any hope of love? The burden for being the Avatar is just too great, we think. We watch as he tries to run away, yet again, from his destiny as the Avatar. We tense up as he heads into battle, afraid he is going to repeat the past. But at the climax of the battle, with our hero surrounded and without any escape route, Aang embraces his identity as the Avatar. He gives up his wants and needs for the greater good. He gives up his love for Katara. For 2 seconds, that is. The next season starts, Aang resumes his fondness of Katara, and we find out that apparently the Avatar doesn't actually have to give up worldly attachments. After all, Avatar Roku had a wife, so it's all good. That monk stuff on the making the ultimate sacrifices as the Avatar, nah, that's just more like an off-on switch.
I'm not gonna let him
You just
continue.
have to stop
But
thinking about Katara for a hot sec, and trust me, that gets easier when the honeymoon phase is over. Okay, this is a problem. In fact, it's a huge problem. The writers had
Nah, it's
something
really
going
not.
here for Aang. Here was a boy who was going to make the sacrifice that would be his crowning moment of maturity as the Avatar. Think about it.
No.
He's already been through so much. Doesn't the Avatar deserve a break? Yes, he does, because he's already done so much. But none of these things he's done to help others will matter if he doesn't complete his journey and defeat the most powerful firebender in the world. He's just a kid, but even as a kid, he must live by this mantra. With great power comes great sacrifice.
Okay.
Aang needed this to complete his journey as the Avatar. He needed to willingly choose the ultimate sacrifice to defeat the Fire Lord.
So here's the thing. He gonna hit you with that Uncle Ben quote. What comes, with great power comes great responsibility, and he's changed that into sacrifice. I don't really mind that because it's not like a bastardization of this. Like you could plug in sacrifice with responsibility. They're kind of like the same thing. And even what I'm gonna say, sacrifice. So what I say is the main theme of Avatar is balance. So and you could look this up. Like you could literally look this up. In fact, I can look this up right now and say, what is the main theme of Avatar? I spelled it right. No, sorry. The Last Airbender. Honor, love, duty, honor, redemption, honor. Okay. Go to this chopper. Man, they don't know what they're talking about. The mother and human nature. Oh, this is this. Redemption, honor. Okay. Let me do this. I ain't gonna lie, that didn't help me. That didn't help me at all. But balance and avatar. How this is balance. I know I'm going off topic. I can't spell today, chat. That's it. Yeah, right here. And I guess you could say like, oh, Doc. They also mentioned redemption and honor and stuff like that, but that mostly pertains to Zuko. I ain't gonna lie. I mean, actually, no, it actually pertains to Aang. I get that because he had to redeem for leaving the War for 100 years. But I would say balance is even more of a major theme than that, because I feel like redemption they never really talked about it unless it was to Zuko. And though Aang had to go to redemption, like had to go through redemption as because he left the war for 100 years, after a while, I think they kind of forgot about that thread. I ain't gonna lie. But nah, they didn't. I'll say this: it wasn't really until the later half of season. It was the first like part of season 1 for Aang. The first part of season 1 for Aang, right? And then for Aang, they kind of dropped it until they picked it up until the main until season 3, where they had the battle with the Fire Nation, not the big one, but the smaller one, the invasion, the Day of Black Sun. But so for Zuko, it was throughout. But I would say balance is way more important than any redemption necessarily. I'll put balance as the major theme. So if I go back, right, it says so. If I go back, it was love, duty, redemption, honor. I could see love. I could definitely see love because duty. Yeah, duty is the avatar. Yeah, duty is this. But I think this duty comes with balance. That's what I'm saying. Like it but upon the main thing, the duty and I don't know. Yeah. So and redemption and honor. But these teams this was Aang, and then this was like Zuko, and then you could argue this like was Aang, and then like you could argue like hold this was this, and also you actually no because redemption meant Sokka had to talk about redemption and shit like that, and duty. So yeah, you could say that. I'm not saying it's not a theme. I'm not saying these aren't themes because they are, but I would argue balance is the bigger theme. And here's something to support my hypothesis, if you will, if I said that right, because I probably butchered that word. Um, so the whole thing about Avatar, he's arguing it's more about sacrifice. Now, he didn't use the word theme, and I'm not trying to put the words in this guy's mouth. Pause. But uh, I think the major theme in Avatar is balance. The major theme, not a major theme. The major theme. The Avatar is the literally balance between the physical and the spiritual. So I know I'm gonna let it play some more, but essentially what I meant is he shouldn't have to sacrifice so much, especially this whole thing of sacrifice. What he's implying is that Aang give up on Katara, Katara and Zuko get together, and then Aang either doesn't, by his logic, doesn't either doesn't get anyone or has to make up with another relationship. When Zuko has May and other relationships, really, Aang has really that one gore from the fortune teller episode. I even got her name. The one with the crazy hair. Like y'all know what I'm talking about, the little kid. But like other than that, like he didn't even have a rapport with her. So and I'm not saying like Aang don't have like options with being the avatar or something like that. It's just like it's kind of weird when these two have been set up. These two had the better chemistry, and for the theme of Avatar, it would be unfair for Aang to go without having someone because if I took his argument to its logical conclusion, meaning that because I think what he's arguing is that Aang shouldn't end up with anyone. I'm pretty sure that's his argument in this case, which would because if he could have said, okay, I don't think Aang should end up with Katara, but Aang should end up with someone else. Like I don't think he's saying that. Now, if he is saying that, my bad, but I don't think he's saying that. I think he's saying that Aang should end up alone, which is kind of weird because if the app because we know what happens in Korra, we know that Korra is the next Avatar, so she would be without an airbending teacher. Of course, Aang wouldn't be there because the Avatar has to die in order for another Avatar. They can't have two Avatars at the same time, basically. Um, but Tenzin and his students, I mean his children, wouldn't be there, and that means Korra would either have to learn airbending on her own, or possibly not at all, or wait until every other airbender has learned it, or learn it from Zaire, like, like, and even then, like you corrupting the Avatar. Like, now it'd have been cool. Gotta been like, hey, Avatar got corrupted by an evil organization, and she learned out that she was bad on some like or like, oh wait a minute, this is wrong. It been cool. It been a cool thing. I'm not gonna lie. That sounds like a cool idea. But and to get to there, you would have to leave Aang high and dry, and it's basically saying Aang cannot reproduce, which seems weird because he's the last airbender. It's like he's the last airbender, so it seems kind of weird. Anyway, I'm gonna let him continue. I'm alluding to one of my points early on that she's gonna make, but it's not the full. It's not my full points, but I'm a
Instead
continue.
of this ridiculous notion that he had his chakra blocked because of Lucky Azula, he should have instead been struggling with going into the Avatar state out of fear.
Okay, first of all, can we say that Azula is lucky? Azula is cold and calculative. Like I don't think like everyone else was standing there. Like you had Earthbenders firebenders, and like Azula's the only one that's like, what? This guy is powering up right in front of me. Like, what? What do you think? You think I'm not gonna spark him with lightning?
And out of again his unwillingness to give up Katara. Instead of making a pointy rock unlock his power, why not make it something he chooses to do? Why not make that?
I do agree with this that the pointy rock. I didn't get that. I mean, yeah, you could say it was like a trauma trigger or something like that. I don't know, but like that was kind of dumb. I will admit that. He should. I mean, it was plot armor, but you know, it's plot armor gonna plot armor. You know what I'm saying?
That the ultimate moment when he truly embraces his avatar duties and unleashes his avatar power. The build-up should have been his choice, not an accident. In other words, Aang's character arc was incomplete because he didn't have to give up Katara, and still he got the girl. Is it a happy ending? Sure, but the lesson could have been more impactful if it was about sacrifice.
But
the whole story would have come to a close if Aang, as an avatar forbidden from love,
okay, okay, so yeah, he says it. Okay.
Truly was the last airbender.
No. Okay, so he said it. He says forbidden from love. Okay, so this is his words, not mine. Now, you could just say it was for forbidden from loving Katara, but he says forbidden for love, and I'm pretty sure that means he's like excluding everyone on some hermit type shit. Again, I don't think it's fair to Aang for him to be the last avatar, or fair to any other avatar, because you're basically like hindering them, and kind of what do you call it, nerfing them, or you're basically having them have a crutch, because now they have Aang is an airbending master, and obviously he taught Tenzin, and Tenzin taught Korra and their children. So basically, the world, in the name of balance, will be unbalanced because there will be no more airbenders for at least, I don't know, a couple, and until Aang dies. Until Aang dies and Korra magically gets powers and Zaire magically becomes an airbender and the new airbenders go out, and they wouldn't have any teachers except for Zaire. So Zaire could possibly, you know, like manipulate them or gaslight them into becoming his disciples. Like, what? And like the whole point of the Avatar is master four elements, and you're gonna let this last airbender go without reproducing, because you said an avatar without love, even though they're not banned from it, even though they're not banned from love, there's nothing in the Avatar handbook that says Avatar shall not have love. Like, there's nothing about it, because then we wouldn't, if the Avatar didn't have love, we wouldn't have people like Zuko, because I'm pretty sure Zuko's grandfather on his mom's side was uh uh Avatar Roku, and then his grandfather on his dad's side was Sozin. So you wouldn't have Zuko or Zula or any of the main villains except for the Fire Lord without, you know, Avatar Roku. So this idea that Avatar should be bending for love, especially Aang of all people, when he's the, it's not, Avatar Roku could make sense because he's not the last of his kind. He's not the last firebender. Aang is the last airbender. There's something like different. There's a different amount of weight to that. When you're the last of something, like, you don't want to extinguish that. You're saying that Aang should just died alone and be the last airbender, especially when you have Korra. That's not the message of Avatar. The message of Avatar has always been balanced, and it's pretty unbalanced for Aang to be the last airbender, especially when he has someone who he loves and someone who loves him, and they have joy together. They trust each other. I don't know if there's any reason why they shouldn't be together, especially the amount of bullshit reasons that you're gonna put in this video. Now, again, it's not a personal attack on you, but this is an attack on your reasons. Your reasons are bullshit. I just want to say that. I just want everybody to know that your reasons are bullshit. Like, I don't lose it. I'm not saying you're dumb. I'm not saying you're stupid. I'm not saying you're evil. I'm not saying you didn't watch the show. But honestly, that one's questionable. But other than that, like, maybe you just want your ship to win. Like, and this goes out to any Zutara fans. If you just want your ship to win, I've like, that's fine. You just like them better together, fine. You like them, they look better together, fine. Whatever. I don't care about that. Like, but if you say to me definitively that Zuko has a better rapport with Katara than Aang, and therefore deserves to be with Katara because of this, and the reasons are all pretty much bullshit and circumstantial, that's where I gotta be like, okay, y'all didn't really watch the show at that point. Because I'm questioning if this guy really watched the show because the points he's bringing up are just like they're poor. They're poor points. They're circumstantial and they're bullshit. Honestly, not saying the guy's dumb. I'm not saying the guys are evil or something or did it with malcontent or something. Nah, nothing of that. I just think the guy just was not spitting at all. He was not cooking, bro. He was not cooking. Anyway.
Fire and water, polar opposites. One brings warmth, light, and destruction, the other brings cooling, cleansing, and sweat. Despite the differences, they are both essential elements to life. Fire brings rebirth, and water is the foundation of all life on Earth. In a world where the history is filled with conquests and division based on the differences in the elements, the people need more than the avatar to unite them. They've had avatars in the past, and their history is still rife with conquests. And let's not forget that with 100 years of consistent defeat at the hands of the Fire Nation armies, it's hard to imagine the rest of
Now, pay attention to what he just said. Pay attention. Sorry, y'all. I want y'all to pay attention to what he just said because that's really important. That's really important to what he just said. That's honestly one of the most important things. Let me roll it back to you.
had avatars in the past, and their history is still rife with conquests. And let's not forget that with 100 years of consistent defeat at the hands of the Fire Nation,
100 years of consistent defeat thanks to the Fire Nation. Because I think he says because of the Fire Nation. Either way, point still stands. Because of the Fire Nation. Now, I just want you to just remember that.
armies, it's hard to imagine the rest of the world is going to sit back quietly the moment the Fire Nation says sorry. No.
Yes,
After
exactly.
100 years of the Fire Nation being the bad guys, more division is on its way. One could argue that the best solution is a symbolic union of fire and water.
A symbolic union of fire and water. Okay.
Water to start the healing process.
Let's start the healing
to birth
process.
a new era where the people focus on their similarities and
Instead
not
of
their
the-
differences. An era where the firebenders live with waterbenders and earthbenders. Perhaps Avatar Roku and previous avatars actually failed the world by pushing for elemental segregation, all in the name of balance. Maybe balance doesn't mean
Oh, balance. Ooh, I wonder where we heard that before. Oh yeah, from me, bro. From me, because you know that's one of the main. That's a main theme in Avatar, and you want to just bring it out when it's. Man, bro, I can't believe this shit, bro. I ain't gonna lie. This video gonna be hard to get through. Not because I watched it 3 times, because every time this is small bullshit.
in isolation, but freedom to live with others who are different. Maybe balance is achieved by letting the people naturally integrate.
Oh, so you mean like if Katara, who and Aang, who have been together, for a long time, and Aang never really hurt Katara, never really went after the Katara, actually enjoys his time with Katara, and Katara does the same thing with Aang. You mean like that? I mean, I really like that. It's not like we're staring at their kids right now, but that's just me. That's just me, you know what I'm saying? Like that. We're staring directly at their family, and you still have the nerve to me to say like, oh yeah, Zuko and Katara would be a better symbolic relationship than Aang and Katara. But I'm gonna get to this point, and this is not really this my point right here. The one about Zuko, Aang and Katara being a better relationship than Zuko Katara. This is just my point number 1 about this guy. That I'm really gonna cook his ass. Like this segment, he just wrong, and I'm gonna really cook his ass. I'm gonna let him finish, but I'm really
Had the nations been more diverse in the first place, then Sozin would have had no leverage in starting the war because the technology developed by firebenders would have naturally been integrated throughout the whole world. One could argue that in Sozin's time and in the time leading to the end of the war, there really was no balance. The Fire Nation had tipped the scale.
He mentioned the word again, Chad. He do it again. He know he's talking out his bullshit. He must know, right? No, because I don't want to say this guy's dumb. Okay, I don't believe this because anyone who likes Avatar, I can't be dumb. maybe that's just me. Maybe that's my naivety. You know what I'm saying? Like that. naivete. You know what I'm saying? Like maybe I'm just dumb for believing everyone who likes Avatar is not dumb. You know, I was like maybe I just respect people's opinion about Avatar, especially when it's good too much. Maybe that's just me. Maybe I'm just I shouldn't give him the benefit of the doubt because he's not spending. He's only using balance for when it. I'm gonna let him.
Scales with
I'm
their
gonna look.
immense progress, leaving the rest of the world behind
I'm gonna
and
look.
woefully underprepared for any type of war
Mm-hmm.
against them. Avatar
Okay.
Aang,
Wait
Katara,
a
and
minute.
Zuko
You know, he just said the Fire Nation thing again. Chat. He said it again. He's.
could have achieved true
I'm
balance
gonna be.
by allowing and even celebrating elemental integration. Not only does
Yes.
the world need an example from their leaders to promote
Hey, chat. I want you to really look at this image, and then really really listen to what he was saying right at the image. I'm coming back. I'm gonna replay it. Replay it.
elemental integration.
Elemental integration, chat. Wait a minute.
Not only does the
Elemental integration. Maybe you just need some more time. Elemental integration, dude. We apparently we don't have in this show elemental integration, people. Apparently in Avatar of all shows, you know, it's not like it's one of the greatest cartoons of all time, but apparently in Avatar, we don't have elemental integration. Huh. I mean, he's right. Just look, we don't have elemental integration. I mean, like, like it's Avatar. Why would we have elemental integration? Huh? Hmm? Hmm? Like, I don't even know what that is, man. Like, Avatar is probably the one series that doesn't have elemental integration. Like I would never thought about. And he's so right, man. We don't have a symbol of elemental integration. We have never seen that in Avatar. So that's why Zuko and Katara should get together because they're a symbol of elemental integration. We have never seen that in Avatar before. No, never. Never in the 3 seasons. Never, was Katara and Sokka being from the Water Tribe, Aang being from the Air Nomads, and Toph being from the Earthbenders, and Zuko being a Firebender and from the Fire Nation. We've never seen element integration. No. And that's not even. I still have two more good points. So you see, now. I know I'm being sarcastic. I know I'm being, or facetious or whatever. I don't give bro. But do you see what this guy's saying? Do you see this guy is blatantly? I don't know if listen. I want this to be a troll. I want to. If I look like a fool, then I look like a fool, bro. But like if this is even a little bit serious, it's a scary. Like I don't know why people watch the show and then like I know why people ship them together. Like people like, oh, they look good together, so I should just ship them together. But they had no reason to be together, chat. And I get it. Like Doc, it's a cartoon ship, and ain't one in the end. And what are you saying about this? It's just like, but I think people. I'm kind of afraid that people think that this is a good relationship. Period. Like this. Like take Aang out of the picture, right? If this like say like Aang Guitar like Aang would didn't want to be with Guitar and pit anyway, right? That people think what Zuko did to Katara is okay and is an example of a good relationship. Like, really. Like, I want people to think about that. Like, people are shipping this. Like, if you're shipping this because you think they look good together, and you like drawing, I have no problem with you. I have no qualms with you, bro. But if you think you're shipping and thinking this is a good relationship, that them together, knowing their history is still a good relationship, I don't know what like who hurt you, bro. Like I haven't even really been in a relationship at all, and I can tell you like this is not a good relationship. I'm not saying it's the worst one, but it's like oh yeah, let me just. It's kind of stalkerish behavior. Like I know it was for Aang, but she was there too. You know what I'm saying like that, and he was there to hurt her too. Like and she gave him a chance, and he ruined the chance. Like I believe in his redemption. Now I will say something that's kind of controversial before we get back to the video because I know I'm ranting. I think Zuko's redemption arc was incomplete. I think because of the kind of rushed way they ended Avatar, and I know it was like it wrapped up everything pretty nicely. I think Zuko's relationship, like, yeah, she helped Katara, you know, uh, find her mother. But what about what he did to Kyoshi? What about he did with any other nation that he burned down, or the Fire Nation? And I know in the books, in the comic books, he probably do more on that and help that a lot more. And I think I don't know in the books if Zuko's like the main leader or if he's just like one of the leaders. Because obviously you feel like for the world, it's hard to see Zuko as necessarily a friend. And I'm pretty sure in the books they probably cover this a little bit more. But it seemed to me like, oh yeah, there's a prince of the guy who was, you know, tracking down the Avatar, and now he's the prince and he's the king or something like that. He's the emperor or whatever. And yeah, let's trust him. Like, you know, again, I haven't read the comments that far ahead. I skimmed the comments. Like I had the comments. Like I watched the video on the comments, but it's kind of hard for people to believe that. Oh yeah, Zuko, yeah, the greatest guy. You know, something like that. It's stupid. Now back to the video, bro.
The world needed an example from their leaders to promote integration. But it's
Yeah,
clear the
integration
Avatar
chat.
can't maintain world peace alone.
Yeah.
Maybe that's why previous Avatars were always fighting massive wars, because they
Wait,
were alone.
wait. I just wait, bro. What is you saying, bro? No, you just contradict you. Sorry, he just contradicted himself again, bro. He just he just. Oh my god. What he just basically stabbed himself, bro. He said Avatar. Let me run this back.
From their leaders to promote integration. But it's clear the Avatar can't maintain world peace alone.
But okay. Okay. There are several things wrong with argument. One, the Avatar, Team Avatar, Aang is not alone. He has Team Avatar. Two, you said you wanted the Avatar to be alone. You said you wanted the Avatar not to be with anyone. You want to have a loveless life, basically. That's what you basically said. You said the Avatar should be remain loveless or something like that. And that's what you basically said. And then you're here saying that no Avatar shouldn't be alone. What is you saying, bro? What is you saying, bro? Like, make up your mind. Like, be consistent, like, bro. Like, again, I don't think you're evil or dumb, but you are making a lot of dumb arguments, bro. And people, I don't know, bro. I don't know. Like, any Zutara fan out there, bro, like that thinks the same as this guy, like, I think you need, I don't know, maybe you need a hug or something. I don't know, bro. But whatever.
Maybe that's why previous Avatars were always fighting massive wars, because they were alone.
But your solution is to link Aang alone without any way to repopulate the Air Nation because you want Katara over Zuko because of some bullshit reasons? Okay.
Aang could have had the wisdom to see that, although he loved Katara, the world needed him to give up his love, not just so he could truly be the Avatar.
One, it's not in the interest of balance, but
But so Katara and Zuko could start a new era together. If the solution to a new era was two pieces, then Aang sacrificing his wants for becoming the Avatar.
But it's not about sacrifices. Isn't one of the main things. You could say sacrifices is a part of Avatar, but the main theme is balance, bro. I'm gonna be honest. I'm gonna say
and Zuko and Katara getting married would have been the second piece.
Why would that solve anything?
You see, Katara as the Fire Lady would have no doubt earned, at minimum, the respect of the Fire Nation.
No, not necessarily. Not necessarily. No, I'm sorry. The Fire Nation's not gonna be swayed just because he's Fire Lord Zuko. You can look at any royal family and any major royal family, right? And you can look at Meghan Markle and Harry. You know what they did to Meghan Markle and Harry? And that's just like, and they're not even like, I mean, he's the prince, but he's like backed up in a long line. You know how they acted towards him and Meghan Markle being an outsider? Like, I'm sorry, like, I don't know if you know any royal families, but most royal families in history, if it's an outsider comes, it's usually because of some like it's usually not taken over by the family. You're not taken over well by the family. Like the family don't really like it. Like there's like maybe a few times in history where the family is like genuinely liked an outsider, but most of the time they don't. Most of the time they see an outsider, it's just like it's hell. Like you know what I'm saying? Like there's so many shows and so many parodies and so many ways where like people hate outsiders. Like what? Like what? I'm sorry. It's a fact of life. Like people generally hate people that don't meet the criteria of what is right, what is pure, what is the whole thing. Like that's why we have like racism and all this other stuff and bigotry and all this other shit going on today. Like I don't know why you think the Fire Nation, who's been basically gaslight into thinking that Ozai is the best shit since milk or since bread or something, since sliced bread. I messed up that joke, but since sliced bread, would think that even as someone as powerful as Katara and let her take over with no resentment. I don't like Katara is a strong bidder for sure. Katara is a healer for sure, and Katara may win over a few people for sure. Just on the skill line for sure. But to say that the Fire Nation of all nations, like we're not talking about the Air Nomads, we're not talking about the Earth Nation, we're talking about the Fire Nation, who has like hated the Water Nation, like hated the Water Nation for sure because they're opposites. Would even accept Katara just because she's strong? Like, come on now. Come on now. This point is bullshit and you know it. But
The Fire
continue.
Nation values competence and skill.
But now just because they value it, just I mean they're willing to overlook it because she's competent and skillful. Like yeah, if they were logical beings, but these are the same beings who literally got done starting a war. Literally, like they just got done fighting a war over them being the best. So I don't know what you've been smoking, thinking, drinking. I don't know, but bro, have you seen like the whole? It was Fire Nation. Fire Nation. The Fire Nation was trying to solo squad the war and could and how if it wasn't for Aang and Team Avatar and this other group I'm about to mention because we haven't even gotten to that point, they would have won. It's arguable because the water, they definitely could have beat the Sun and Water tribe for sure. The Earth Kingdom was already kind of under their power and falling quickly. So, and once the Earth Kingdom gets taken down, all they really need to do is take down the Water Kingdom. And even with the Water Kingdom, they were outmatched militarily. You know, they outmatched in the arms race. So it's just like there was Fire Nation definitely could have won that war if it was for Ink and Team Avatar for sure, and the White Lotus. By the way, I'm gonna mention them later. You wanna see why? In this segment too, I'm gonna mention them later in this segment too. But there's no way that you believe that people would be oh yeah, you know what? She is a strong bidder. You know, I don't care if she's not from our tribe. I don't care. You know, it's not like I just didn't got done fighting a war over the Fire Nation being the best. Like it's a stupid argument. It's a stupid ass argument.
She fits the mold perfectly. She would have also been a perfect liaison as a diplomat between.
But she could have, and the thing is, she could have all the shit he's saying. She could have done with being married to Zuko. She could have done without Zuko. That's the part. There's no necessity. You know what I'm saying? Like she could have done without Zuko. Yeah, he's probably listened to this as like, oh yeah, uh, what she's not just some trophy wife, which I agree. Sakara's not just some trophy wife, but there's no reason for her to be with Zuko because technically she could have done everything he just mentioned. She could have done without marrying Zuko.
Her adopted people and the rest of the world.
Uh-huh.
She and Zuko would be the example the world needed to help people begin to diversify and integrate rather than to segregate.
I want to make sure I have this. All right. I want to get rid of this. All right. Hey, what's up? Oh, hey, what up, Mateo? What up, Mateo? Hey, I'm sorry I missed. I don't know why you're not appearing on my comment thing. I have that like, hold on. I don't have a chat thing right here. I might fix that. It was. I know. I know. Mateo, you've been here for like the past I'm just redoing this video because I did not appear it on screen, so this is gonna be one of those streams. So I just do the video again, and then I'm gonna get off after this, and then I'm gonna do something tomorrow. But thank you for being here, Mateo. But yeah, I'm sorry, I'm redoing this because like I messed up, and you didn't see the screen. I don't need to skip. All right, there we go. Let's go back to the video. I'm sorry about but anyway.
Even characters like Iroh and Zhongjong had already
Okay.
begun integrating
Why are we
themselves
doing
with
this
the
right
other
now?
elements. Iroh and Zhongjong both learned about the pros and cons of the other bending arts, but were only able to do so because they were part of a conquering nation's military.
My bad,
If
yo. I
things
don't know
stayed
why it's
segregated as the Avatars intended, then it would have been hard to imagine them learning about the other elements the way that they did. It was only after years of spending time with the other elements in different nations did they grow and abandon the Fire Nation's propaganda. It's clear that the more time the people spent with other elements, the more they
So I mean, this is not really hurting my argument against Katara, because technically that is integrating elements, but you know.
they grew. Even Team Avatar had the luxury of rubbing shoulders with people from each nation, and because of this, they became stronger. Nations of this world needed to learn from each other, so what better way to start than with an eventual royal wedding between Katara and Zuko?
Okay, see, I was gonna let him finish, but throughout this time, he's talking about the political reasons that Katara and Zuko would be a symbol to the world that um that show that two nations can exist and get along together. The thing is, with Avatar, we have two examples of that. We have Team Avatar in itself, and that has all four nations in it. And then we have the White Lotus, which has three nations in it, because obviously the Aang's the last Airbender, so and he's part of Team Avatar already. But we already have two representations of it, by the way. And so, and you could say and here's the thing: there are a bunch of old people and a bunch of young people. So you got both for both generations. And these old people have been colluding for like years now, right? And these young people have gone on save the world, work together to save the world. So that means something. Like, I mean, the old people help wipe blood too. Shout out to Uncle Iroh, one of the best uncles like in the game. But like, there's no reason for Zuko and Katara to be. If that's your reason for Zuko and Katara to be together, that reason is void because you already have stuff like Team Avatar and the White Lotus. So that doesn't even matter. And what matters more, I would argue, than even like Katara and Aang or Zuko and Katara, it's a relationship between Aang and Zuko, because nation, Aang's nation tribe or no, yeah, tribe or something, culture has been the most to suffer from the Fire Nation. And so it's better if people see they get along, hell, they marry than anyone else's, because like Aang's the last airbender for a reason, because of Zuko's nation. So if they see that, hey, Aang is cool with Zuko and Zuko is cool with Aang, Zuko being Fire Lord and Aang being the Avatar, that's where the real prosperity and peace comes from. That's where the real symbolism comes from. It's not from some random girl. Like, yeah, okay, Katara's not random, but I mean, she helped save the world, of course. But it's not from some random marriage like to Zuko. Okay, like no Fire Nation is gonna be like no Fire Nation person, no firebender. It's gonna be like some random firebender affiliated with the Fire Nation and be like, oh yeah, we should have the Water Tribe girl because she's so strong. Like, it's just not like, I'm not saying Katara not strong, not this and that, not accomplished, not an accomplished bender and a healer and all that stuff. Doesn't have shit going on. Like, she clearly has shit going on, but it don't matter because again, it's not like they're gonna be like, oh yeah, I'm sorry, we started a war with you. My racist ways are over. That was just a phase. Like, no one's gonna be like that. There's gonna be people still having their biases from the war. It works every time. You see it was the Nazis and the neo Nazis and all this other shit and the white supremacists and the white nationalists. You see this all the time. Like, just because they lose a war does not make them gonna be any less friendlier. All right, it's probably gonna even make them more hostile in some ways. So I don't get how how Katara joining Zuko is gonna make them say, "Oh yeah, I definitely gonna change my ways because the leader of the Nine Nation married an outsider." What? Like the only thing I could give you, and the only thing I could give you is to see insight to other people's nations, and now because now the water tribes could be like water tribes traditions could be celebrated in the Fire Nation's land. But even then, like you could already do that. By the way, you don't really need Katara to do that. I mean, Katara would back up the reason, but you don't really need Katara to do that. And especially when Aang's relationship with Zuko is way more important than Katara's relationship with Zuko. Like any day. I'm just like it's just like it's this is like I don't know what this guy's cooking like what this guy's cooking, but he's not cooking at all, bro. Like I'm watching this shit, bro. I'm just like, bro. I don't know why you like the video's not like you take my feelings out of it. You take my like my the facts on not even my feelings, but my facts out of it. Like it's not a bad video. Like it's a really it's a decent video, right? But it's just some bullshit. Like all of this is bullshit. Hold on, I think I was gonna say something. What was it? I forgot what I was gonna say. Hold on.
Nations of this world needed to learn from each other, so what better way to start?
Nations of the world. I was gonna say something, but I forgot what I was gonna say. I was gonna say something else. Um. Nah, I said that Zuko should marry Aang if that's the case, really, but that's not the case. I always says the part about Aang being alone and dying the last airbender really doesn't have the whole balance between the nations type shit. Because you're basically once Aang dies, you're kind of eliminating the air nomad. You're weakening the air nomad so much that they won't repopulate for like another generation or two, right? Because even even Korra, hold on, excuse me. Even Korra when Aang died, like let's say Aang dies alone, he was one thing, he won't have anybody to teach his airbending skills to, unless he gets lucky and someone randomly out of blue develops an airbender nature, right? Right. I don't know if bending necessarily is inherently genetic, but genetic probably genes have something to do with it. So you're basically axing out any genes that people can inherit from airbending because Aang's line would just be dead and gone, right? So you're basically relying on luck for any air people to repopulate. And if you're saying like so then obviously again Korra won't have an airbending teacher, so she won't master airbending, and therefore she will be less of an avatar. And I don't really know. I mean, sure, there's some. It's not like she's not already powerful, but that's not really the point. When the job of avatar is kind of to maintain balance, you know, and the job of avatar is also to maintain balance between the spiritual and the physical. And part of being physical is having someone to he said in the first part is having someone to anchor him, right? And he needed to let Katara go because she was anchoring him down, and he needed to let Katara go because Zuko would be a better fit or whatever. But I like I said, part of the Avatar's duty is balance, and balance between the spiritual and the physical is what the Avatar is. And so to maintain that balance, he doesn't need to cut off his one of his most physical, intimate relationships just for the sake of Zuko's, sake or whatever. Like if your argument that they had a better relationship, sure, but that's not the case. It's not the case. It's never been the case. And I will say this right now: y'all have only 3 scenes out of so many bad ones that I don't know. I know there's some good scenes. You have the one, or you have the basically an episode was what's it called? The I forgot what it's called. The Southern Air Raiders or something like that. Where Katara goes with Zuko on a mission, and he's gonna talk about this later in this video. You have that one, to find the person that killed her mother. You have the the one in Boxing Say, the crystals that he showed earlier, where Katara was off, where Katara offered Zuko to heal his scar. Um, and then you have, I think you have one more. Oh yeah, you have that the Agni guy. Now I'm not saying those aren't great scenes or anything like that, but those aren't enough to erode what Aang and erode and erase what Aang did for Katara and what Aang means to Katara and all the moments that they spent having joy and trust. And you know, 3 scenes are not enough. No matter how good they were, I'm sorry, it's just not enough. And y'all need to get that to your skull because it's like it'd be different if we could have like some conversations, but it's really not a conversation. There's no world in which y'all think this is a healthy relationship, like a really healthy relationship. Like oh yeah, I'm gonna chase you for several months, right? Make you sweat your safety in existence, right? Basically, hunt you and your group because of your boyfriend, best friend, comrade, little brother type beat, just for my honor. And it's just like people were willing to forget all the bad stuff that Zuko did. And I'm just like, I'm not saying he didn't earn his redemption or anything like that. Although I can make a case for that. I'm not saying that he didn't put in steps. I'm saying it wasn't complete. And the book probably goes into more of this of how he completed his stuff and how he got more of his redemption back. His redemption arc was not complete at the end of the show. That's all I'm gonna say. Like that's my hot take. I don't think his redemption arc only to find Katara's last find Katara's mother's killer, get Sokka's dad and Suki and other people out of prison, um uh teach Aang firebending. Like that's not enough. I'm sorry. That's I don't know. I'm pretty sure there's Zuko fans out there, but I'm sorry. That's not enough. Now I'm pretty sure what he does in the comments helps further that and helps develop that and helps further that redemption. But I'm saying right now it's not enough, and that's for sure. This based on the show, it's not enough. I'm sorry, you can't burn people's villages down, hunt people for months at a time, and then you know help them find their mother killers. Like I'm not saying he didn't take steps to it. I'm saying it was not enough. That's all. I'm saying it was incomplete. I'm not saying it wasn't good. I'm saying it was incomplete, and that's my hot take, really. But let's get on to it.
Than with an eventual royal wedding between Katara and Zuko. Not only does this romance make sense on a political and grand level, it makes sense on an individual level between Katara and Zuko. Let's first look at how much Zuko and Katara have in common that Aang does not have. They're both incredibly mature for their ages. Both were
Now, I'm just gonna warn you guys. I'm just gonna let it play. My bad.
extremely responsible through the whole series. They both lost their mothers because of bad actors in the Fire Nation.
My bad.
And they recognize the importance of parenthood. They both
No.
have taken
Okay. Actually, no. I was gonna let it go, but I'm not.
Zuko and Katara have in common that Aang does not have.
He says Aang does not have anything in common with Katara, but that's not true. But let's play.
They're both incredibly mature for their.
Aang is actually mature for his age. For a 12-year-old, Aang is mature as hell. I ain't gonna lie. Aang is mature as hell. I'm not. Okay, let me not say it so. But Aang is definitely mature for a 12-year-old. I mean, but for 160, like 112-year-old, you could argue. Yeah, it's a weird position that Aang is, but biologically, he's 12. So for a 12-year-old, he's actually mature. Like I think people downplay that aspect of Aang in his wisdom and his maturity. But that's just me.
Their ages. Both were extremely
And I can also make the argument. I'm not going to right now because I'm gonna save it for later. That Katara and Zuko are immature too. I can make that argument, by the way, but I'm just gonna leave that for later. I'm gonna let you seek it and let you really think about how Katara and Zuko have both shown their maturity. But I don't think you don't have to. If you smart, chat, like you're not gonna have to use too much brain power to figure that one out.
Responsible through the whole series. They both lost their incredibly mature for their ages. Both were extremely responsible through the whole series.
Through the whole series, extremely responsible. He's saying from second one to I don't know how many seconds, but to a lot of seconds. That's 60 episodes worth of seconds. They were all mature. Okay.
Series. They both
Oh,
lost their
30
mothers
episodes
because
or
of bad
40
actors
episodes?
in the Fire Nation, and they recognized the importance of parenthood.
I'm sorry. Aang lost his Aang lost his whole clan. I mean, I don't know if Aang had parents necessarily, like biological parents. I mean, I'm sure he did, but I don't know if he knew them or if it was a policy to be taken away from your parents as a monks. I don't know what the monks practice or how they got down in there, but what? What? I'm gonna get back to just because.
Lost their mothers because of bad
Aang lost his parents because of Fire Nation too.
actors in the Fire Nation,
That's one thing.
and they recognized the importance of parenthood.
They do. Aang does too. He had Monk Gyatso. He basically that man raised him to be his father, grandfather, father figure, guardian. Like, what are you talking about? It's not like Aang didn't have no parents. I mean, have no like a figure in his life. Like Aang had a parental figure in his life.
They both have taken proactive steps to achieve their goals.
Okay, this one is bullshit. And I know what you're gonna say. Like, Doc, you saying everyone has his reasons is bullshit. And I'm saying that yes, that is true. That is true because um because it is like everyone has reason it's like either circumstantial or bullshit. And I'll say this: the mass one is surface level. It's some surface level comparison. It's like, oh, she wears blue and he's wearing blue. Oh, they both wear blue. They should be together. Like what the like? This is some surface level bullshit. And I could argue that Zuko having the blue spirit kind of a sign of immaturity. I ain't gonna lie. I could argue that. And I could argue that even though they both had alter egos, right? They both had alter egos, right? The Pandit Lady and the Blue Spirit. Katara used hers for good, while Zuko used his for selfishness, right? For selfish gain. He wanted to save him because he didn't want anything to get captured by anyone but him, which was immature. Okay, because if we're gonna say that if we're gonna all agree that Zuko has one of the best redemption arcs, right? If y'all gonna say that, right, then you have to say that Zuko was at a point where he didn't have that maturity, where he didn't have that redemption, right? Where he was undeveloped, aka immature, right? In some type of way, right? That he was so selfish. I mean, we could point out the stuff that at the water temple, the northern water temple, what he got Aang, but didn't have no plan after that. The nigga just grabbed Aang and then had no plan after that. He had to hide out in a cave and almost froze his ass and died. Right? And Uncle Iroh pointed this out. Iroh pointed this out too. It's like you have no plan after you just want Aang. You go this way, that you have no plan, no care for anybody else to get that likes you or loves you or something like that, or that you need. You just want to get what you need and get out the way because you want your honor, which is immature. It's an immature way of acting. So if we're gonna pull out the Aang is immature, you have to recognize that most people in Avatar are immature. Sokka's was immature until he met Suki and they went on that journey, and then he met Yue, and then he matured even more. And then Katara was immature. Katara stole the pirate scroll. Not only that it get him chased by Zuko, but it got him chased by pirates, and she only did it for herself. Like, yeah, she got it because Aang needed to learn waterbending, and she wanted to teach Aang waterbending, but she didn't even know herself, and she got mad, starts jealous at Aang because she. Off the bat, he learned a move that Katara didn't, and he learns water moves quicker than Katara ever could. So if you want to bulk up that immaturity tree, it goes both ways, bro. It really goes both ways. And these examples prove nothing but some surface level bullshit. I could go both ways with it. Like, I've watched this show enough. I mean, I ain't a hardcore fan, but like I'm a fan for sure. I'm a definitely like I'm in there, bro. Like I'm not saying like I'm so tapped into the lore. But I watched a few videos. I know shit. I watched it multiple times. Like, but this is just some basic shit that you don't understand. I didn't even watch necessarily. I didn't watch any Avatar videos to prepare for this. I haven't watched Avatar since probably a couple years ago, right? And this is just me like, and I haven't watched an Avatar video except for this one. Maybe a couple months ago. Maybe a couple months ago. All right. So it's nothing. I didn't prepare for this, right? I didn't prepare for this at all. This is off the top of my dome, right? But any person that watched Avatar, especially watched it intently as I have, which is a lot of people. I'm not like special or anything like that. I'm not even like a genius or anything like that, or an analysis genius or something like that. In fact, when it comes to like shit like essays, I'm pretty pissed poor. But this shit is just like stupid because he's only doing some surface level comparisons. And if we talking about a relationship, especially if we talk about a relationship as good as crafted as well crafted as Avatar relationships, as a well crafted show as Avatar, then you're gonna have to put a lot of other work in, a lot of other evidence in than they just, oh yeah, they both wear masks type shit. Like they both dress up. Like that's what is essentially what he's saying. It's a lot more deeper than that. So if you really want me to believe that Katara should end up with Zuko, other than everyone in the series, if you watch the series, other than you think they look good together or whatever, you know why Aang up with Katara. It was way better than Zuko. He was a way better option than Zuko, and we all know it. There were way more reasons. There was way more trust. There was way more affection, and there was way more joy. Like it's not even close. And plus the time they spent together, like it was not even close. And Aang never hurt Katara. Well, wanting to hurt Katara, he did hurt Katara when practicing firebending, but he immediately read it, and he didn't want to practice firebending for multiple years because of what happened. That scarred him as much as it scarred. I think it scarred Aang even more. I would say. Like I think Katara was like shocked at first, but Aang just got scarred by that. Aang had worry in his face. Like, I don't know about you, but like that's the type of person I would want. I would want people to like that worry about me, like that. Like I'm sorry, that's just me. You know, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm wrong. I'm gonna let him continue, bro. I've been speaking for a minute.
by disguising themselves, while Aang tries to respect authority and systems as the
Okay. Wow, it's not even like 4 seconds later, and this guy's already wrong again. Okay, but I'm gonna let him cook. I'm gonna let him finish the thought.
Avatar, Katara and Zuko are more willing to take matters into their own hands.
So what he basically saying is Aang is willing to go through um a nation's political systems, right? Where they get tried and executed through the political system. Yeah, it might be stupid, but it's also the mature thing to do. So he's willing to respect other people's customs and um he's willing to respect other people's customs so much that he's willing to go through other people's judicial processes 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 and go through them with intent and I don't know. Sorry. What I'm saying is he's willing to go through uh other people's corrupt processes just because he feels like that's the right thing to do. It sounds like mature to me. Yeah, it's kind of stupid. Yeah, especially if you know if they rigged. You know that Kyoshi one was rigged against it, but he's like, no, I'm gonna respect your culture and your legislation. I mean your judicial process. Like, but these guys put on masks, and I'm no, no shade on Batman or Spider-Man or any other hero that puts on masks and stuff like that. But in Avatar, they put on masks, and although Katara's was to help people, and Zuko's was for selfish reasons because he didn't want another person turning the Avatar in. They went around the systems in place. They took the easy way out. Now I'm not saying that they want that Katara wasn't wrong about the way she went about it, but she went out. She acted up. She didn't get what she wanted, and so she found another way around it. Whether it was right or wrong, she still was immature about it. Like you can still be immature, but you can still be right, right? Like you can still be immature, you can be right. Like look at Katara, she was immature, but she right. Like she wanted to feed people. Like I wasn't mad at her for doing it. I understood her process, but she was wrong in the fact that she went out of her way to go around the system that was in place. It was maybe a corrupt system, so yeah, but she didn't want to go for the process. She didn't want to make an appeal. She didn't want to do this. She didn't want to do that. And I understand the village report, and I'm not saying that she wasn't necessarily in the wrong, but she still was immature, and Zuko was just plain immature. So if you want to claim that these people are mature throughout the series, there have multiple instances, especially Zuko for 2 seasons, technically has been immature. And remember I can't even talk about the beach episode, the Ember Islands episode. Didn't Zuko get everything he want and still acted out? I'm just saying, like, yeah, you could say like, yeah, it's his process of maturing, but that just means he wasn't mature yet. That's my point. Like, I'm not saying Zuko didn't have the redemption arc. I'm not saying Zuko didn't get the point of maturity, but I'm just saying that these acts of so-called maturity was really just his own mature way of acting out. Like, but you think these are maturity going by on people's backs and not as respecting the system in place? Yeah, especially in Zuko's case. And I'm not saying I hate Zuko because I love Zuko, but in his case, like objectively, he did the immature thing. He was the immature wrong, and he did it because he was self-serving. It was a self-serving act. It wasn't an act of because I think this is wrong. It's act because I don't want him to get caught by someone else other than me. Like that's all it was. I'm gonna let him cook, but
Aang ran away from responsibility, but Katara and Zuko.
I ain't Zuko ran away with responsibility too. He could have just told, "No, I don't need you, bro. I don't need you, bro. I don't need you." You know what I'm saying?
Zuko have embraced it.
I mean, oh, hey, I can. I can't even do this. If you want to talk about maturity, right? I mean, technically, in the Fire Nation system, Zuko should have known that when you act out or say something in the presence of the Fire Lord, especially in his chamber, that you actually challenge the Fire Lord to a duel. And he acted out because, yeah, he was cared about the people. Yeah, he was right. Like Katara was right. But it was still an immature thing to do. You know what I'm saying? He didn't respect the system in place, and so the system punished him. It wasn't the fair system. It was not a fair system. I'm not saying that. It was not a fair system. But it was a system and he acted out. Therefore he was immature. I like y'all really y'all I'm not saying y'all, but he's really pushing this narrative. I'm assuming it's he. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong, I'm sorry. But he's really pushing the narrative that these people were mature from day one when that's not the case. In fact, Zuko's whole arc was an arc of basically immaturity, and Katara might have been mature in the way she took care of people, but it was not mature herself. You can still be, and here's my point: you can still be a mother, but still be immature. There are a lot of mothers that are still immature, whether they got 16, or or 65. There's still people just because they grow up doesn't mean they stop necessarily being immature, right? They usually do, but there's still something lingering, and people don't really learn their lessons very well. Some people don't really learn their lessons very well. So either way, like you don't you can still be immature even when even if you're so-called motherly or big sisterly. In fact, we're forgetting the big thing is that these are kids. I don't care how many years Katara has been taking care of Sokka. These are still kids. She can still be immature. She is still a kid. She's only 14, like you said. These are still kids that can be immature to because they think they know the way is right. Zuko thinks his honor can only come back from his father, and only it comes back through the Avatar and him capturing the Avatar. Katara too. Katara thinks she's always right, her way is always better, and all this other stuff. And she doesn't care what system she has to go through, and that's why you end up with a painted lady. Okay, so we can do this all day. We can do this all day with Zuko and Katara. I'm not saying Aang's the most mature. I'm just saying your bar for maturity. You say Katara's leagues above Aang, and Zuko's the only one that even kind of topped it. You forgot for like 2 months, at least for a month. I don't know how long the story of Avatar actually lasts, but for at least 2 months, maybe even more, Zuko chased the Avatar with the intent of getting back his honor, something he was too immature to realize only comes back through him. Because we probably every Avatar fan would agree, and even some people who are not Avatar fans, that Zuko has one of the greatest redemption arcs of all time, right? And people would argue that, but that means he would have to come from a place of immaturity. He would have to come from a place of wrongness. Have to come from a place of this total incompetent, total viceness. You know what I'm saying? Total sinfulness, total like way of doing something wrong. He would have to be doing something wrong, and then realizing that it's wrong, and then changing it and trying to make things right. So in doing something wrong, he might not know what he's doing wrong, or what he's doing is wrong. Therefore, it's immature. Am I spinning, or am I not spinning? Because I feel like I'm spinning. You know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like I'm spinning. Like, I'm not even. It's only
Zuko
9
and
minutes.
Katara were always focused on their objectives rather than getting caught up and having fun.
But ain't one. I mean, I could give. I could actually no. I could give him that. I could give him that. But I don't think that's a sign of maturity. And actually, it's funny. It's funny because actually, I actually agree with him. Only on Zuko though, necessarily, because Katara wasn't necessarily going in just for herself. I mean, just for Aang. Because if she really wanted to, she wouldn't. She would just be like, okay, like I'll heal. You know what I'm saying, like that. I'm not saying she was wrong for doing that. Again, I'm not saying she was wrong for doing that. I'm just saying if she was really about helping Aang and saving the world, she would have put her own needs in the back burner and stop being so selfish. Stop sending the pirates go. Don't talk to Master Paku like that. Do all these other things. Like she has some reason for it. Like sure, but it's not like Katara didn't cause some trouble, especially in the Great Divide era. She caused some trouble just because she had a difference of opinion. Am I right? Just because she had a whole fight with Sokka just because she had a different opinion. I don't know how that's mature. I'm just saying. And multiple times in Avatar, she's gotten a fight, especially with Toph. Especially with Toph over some petty shit. Y'all want to claim that's just maturity, but it goes both ways, and I haven't even started on my case for Aang. That's the scary part.
Or getting caught up in romance like Aang. Bending.
What? Hold on.
Rather than getting caught up and having fun, or getting caught up in romance.
Katara went to Aunt Wu to ask about romance. What are we talking about? She literally, what are we talking about? She went to Aunt Wu to ask about, who will I marry? Oh, you will marry a powerful bender. This is literally from the episode. I don't know, like, what? 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 I'm not saying Aang's not immature. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying the level of like fluff, the fluffing up, the hype around this or this, like, I don't even know what to call it. He gassing up. He gassing up Katara and Zuko's maturity, like, and could never reach that level when really, what are we talking about? They're not that high above Aang. If they're even above Aang, first of all. They're not that high above Link. I provided you with multiple scenarios where Zuko has been immature and Katara has been immature. I haven't even gotten to Aang's maturity in this. So hopefully y'all don't fall into the same trap he does, because this nigga's not spinning. For real. He's not spinning.
It's like Ben
She literally just got she asked about romance first. She asked about romance first.
ending was not natural for them.
And oh, by the way, it was her temper that her immaturity, by the way, that actually found Aang. So we can even get that frame one that she was not like the one to control. Like people think Katara, when Katara goes on angry moments, that's maturity. Like anger is maturity, people. Maturity is knowing when to use anger, when to be sad, and usually remaining calm in situations. Now, it's like you could be like, "Oh, Doc, haven't you been getting mad over time?" Like I'm mad and not mad. I'm passionate mainly. I'm not really mad at the nigga, but I'm just mad at his points. I'm mad a little bit because I fucking love Avatar and who doesn't? But I'm just like and shit like this. I just wish people wouldn't make stupid arguments. That's really what it is, man. So I'm not saying I'm completely without feeling, without reason, without emotion because I there's emotion right now. I ain't gonna lie, but I only say this because I fucking love Avatar. You know what I'm saying? Like it's not just my madness that's hyping me up right now. It's really just like I fucking love Avatar. Like I'm actually like happy that I can do this, y'all. And I hope you like this shit too, because I'll be doing more shit like this too. You know, like I really like Avatar. I really like Teen Titans and shit like that. Regular show, Gumball. You know, all this other shit. You know, I really like this shit, but like that's just me. And like Avatar, like if someone calls me childish for reacting to a video about ships or Avatar, then I'm fucking childish. I don't really care because it's Avatar, bro. Like I love making videos about Avatar. I wish I could do it like all the time, but like I gotta switch up the topics and shit like that. Avatar's only so like it's great, but people have already commented so much about Avatar. There's really anything left to say. So this is what I'm saying right now. You know what I'm saying? Like this, I'm trying to get my 2 cents in. You know, I'll still talk about Avatar. Cool. Maybe make a video of it on it if I can. I don't know what it would be necessarily that hasn't already been talked about it. Maybe like the flaws of Avatar, but like that video would be like 2 minutes. Like 2 minutes and sound real nitpicky. Like I would have to come up with some really good things, and I couldn't say much more than what I already said about like maybe like Zuko's arc not being complete, but the show would probably lag on for a little while, and that kind of would lose his like luster. And some things are just left finished. Some things are just left better finished. So you know what I'm saying? Like it's just one of those things. But like yeah, you could say like, oh, he really got you pumped up, dog. Like no, because I fucking love Avatar. I'm not really mad about him. I'm chilling right now. But now I wish he stopped saying some stupid things. I'm not even really mad at him. I'm just like mad at Buzzkin. Like just some. This is what it is, man. But like, let's
had
get
to
it
work
back.
hard to
So
become competent benders.
I would.
Avatar
Oh,
Aang is
by the way, I would love to talk to this guy. You know what I'm saying? I would love to talk to this, like on some Discord shit because like again, like he likes Avatar. Like I'm not gonna hate the guy. I'm not gonna forget that. I like, hey, we both like Avatar. You know what I'm saying? Like that. Like on some real shit. Like we both like Avatar. Like if you like Avatar, then I got you a good person, and I got no problems with you. You know what I'm saying? Like I got no problems with bro. Like I got no problems, bro. But what he said was some dumb shit, and if I can talk to him in real life, you know what I'm saying, like that'd be fine. But until that happens, I'm just gonna comment on his video because I think his points are dumb as shit.
is given respect almost exclusively because of his title. Zuko and Katara earn the respect of others through their effort.
Isn't Zuko a prince? I'm trying to think. Like I was like Katara, sure, but Zuko's a prince. The only time I see him unrespect was when he was fighting. Maybe not even that. I don't even know, bro. Maybe fighting this, like maybe on his good character arc. Like that's the only thing, bro. That's the only time I feel like he's like I think he's again I think he's gassing it up. I think he's gassing it up. Like Katara, sure, but like Zuko, no. Zuko still had his title as prince. Like a bandit prince, sure, but he still had his title for sure. So don't act like he wasn't given some shit. Like Yeah, that title eventually, but that's only because of him. Like if he did nothing, he still would have been Prince Zuko. And I would even say that remember he didn't capture Aang. It was basically all Azula. It was literally it was literally all Azula. So if you want to really talk about it, and then he got the prince title back, he got the respect of the nation back, like he got everything back. So don't tell me Zuko's like earned shit until he gets redeemed. Like he hasn't really earned shit until he got redeemed because he didn't even bring back the Avatar. The best he did was again betray Katara. That's the best he did. That's the best he did in terms of earning respect. Like what? Like what are we talking about? Like, what are we talking about?
Katara and Zuko both resolve conflicts the same way. They say what's on their mind,
I'll get to that point later.
while Aang is much more conflict averse. Now, let's look at what Aang and Katara have in common that Zuko doesn't have. Aang and Katara are both good with kids, and they both like hugs. And honestly, I can think of nothing else.
Now, again, my guy, I hope you're not stupid. You know what I'm saying, like that. I don't think you're stupid. But if you're not stupid, it's pretty hard for me to defend that this isn't a bad faith or evil argument that you just made here. An evil point, a bad faith point that you made here. Because you know that Katara and Aang have some things together. You know that they both lost their parents and both to the Fire Nation, just like Zuko. You know this to be true. You know that these people are kind and genuinely kind at their hearts of hearts, and the Aang is more apparent about. And Aang does have his range, but he's learned to keep that in check most of the time. Katara really doesn't. Katara really has the problem if you talk about immaturity. If you talk about sure, Aang is more childlike necessarily. He does more. He tends to play around more, but also he's probably one of the most mature 12-year-olds ever, and probably one of the most mature people in the group. Like, like what are we talking about? They're both kind people. They both lost people dear because of the war. They both have something to prove. Like off rip, they have all those things. I probably think of a few more things, but like that's three important things. What are we talking about, bro? I just don't know. I just don't know, bro. Bro, they both like hugs.
So let's
They both like that's his argument, bro. It's not like he no, like I don't know if he was just trolling. If he was just trolling, then I apologize for acting up. But it's just like, bro, like it's just a bad faith argument. Like,
dive into this some more. Katara hated the Fire Nation, and she hated Zuko for chasing them across the world and betraying them at Ba Sing Se.
yeah, I know who didn't betray Qatar like ever. Aang.
She simply sees the Fire Nation as the great enemy, and why wouldn't she? They killed her mom and crippled the Southern Water Tribe.
And crippled the air nomads and killed not Aang's whole nation and friends and family and Monkey also his father figure. But they apparently have no relation to each other. They have nothing in common.
While in the cavern with Zuko, she attacks Zuko and tells him how evil he is because it's in his blood. You can't blame her though. Everything bad in her life is because of the Fire Nation.
Just like Aang's. Just like Aang's. Except you could argue here's the only thing I can give you really is that Aang ran from his duty before the Fire Nation really had a chance to attack. But at the same time, like let's be honest here. Let's be honest here. That's the only thing you really have.
But it's in Zuko she sees that things are more complex than they seem. Katara realizes that Zuko is just the product of the worst father of all time.
Oh yeah, but he still made those choices. Like I'm sorry, like you can't say it's the greatest redemption arc. You can't have it both ways. You know what I'm saying? Like you can't say it's the greatest redemption arc and then not blame people for their choices, right? It's because it's because of their choices that they need to go on that redemption arc. And when Zuko went on that redemption arc, that's when it became one of the greatest redemption arc. You can't have it both ways. You can't just say, oh yeah, he was just a product of his environment. Sure, but he still made those choices, right? He still made the choices because otherwise, it is not a redemption arc, right? That statement about it being one of the greatest redemption arcs is just false. It's just false because all he was literally all good all along, so he didn't need redemption, right? Right? It was just blame the Fire Nation, right? Zuko shows no responsibility in it, so that means he feels no responsibility for his redemption arc. In fact, the one who does show responsibility in his redemption arc is his uncle. So it's really his uncle. So 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 it's you either take away Zuko's choice in this, Zuko's Zuko's agency in this, or you give his Zuko's agency. You can't do both. I'm sorry, you just can't do both. You can't do both. You're saying like, oh yeah, he's a product of the Fire Nation, and so he had no choices involved. Clearly he did. Clearly he did, or otherwise the redemption arc wouldn't work so well. I'm not saying he's not allowed to mess up. I'm saying that just because he messed up doesn't excuse that he messed up, right? You can't just blame it on the Fire Nation. These were Zuko's choices. He could have said, okay, fine, fuck it, I'm out. I'm joining the Avatar. I'm helping with firebending. What the fuck you gonna do about it? I'm
She imagined his face as the face of the enemy, but now she sees something different. She begins to see a hot babe. She
cringe.
begins to see him as a human, and this should have been the start of their journey of love. Of course, like all good relationships, they have hiccups along the way.
No, it shouldn't have been. It shouldn't have been.
And Zuko and Katara, they struggle with trying to kill each other.
Chat. Did y'all hear what he said? Let me run it back.
Relationships, they have hiccups along the way. And Zuko and Katara, they struggle with trying to kill each other.
What are we talking? I'm sorry. He said it, not me. He said it, not me, bro. He said it, not me, bro. He said it, not me, bro. He said it, not me. They struggled with trying to kill each other. They struggled with How is that a healthy relationship? How can y'all people root for this? I'm serious. Like who hurt you? Who hurt you people, please? Hey. Please. Who hurt you, bro? It's just...
It's all good, normal, healthy relationship stuff. After Zuko betrays Katara, she steels herself to never forgive him again. Any hope of romance has been formally trounced by betrayal. Zuko thus finds romance in May.
Yeah, by trying to kill her.
But it's clear something is missing. She is a cynic like him.
Wait. So, you just pointed out similarities between Zuko and Katara to point out, to illustrate how they should be together. To illustrate that's why one of the reasons they should be together. To illustrate, that's one of the reasons why they should be together. Right? I made a hour-long video out of 11 minutes. Only I could do that. I know people getting tired of me hearing me talk and stuff like that, but I'm sorry. I just want to complete this so I can just get on with it. But I'm gonna give my all. So I made like 3 hours of length, man. I know I'm gonna be like, oh, he's a dick rider in the comments. So, yeah, it is what it is, bro. But I'm passionate, whatever. So chat. He pointed out earlier that because Zuko and Katara was similar, especially in the way they do about things. They both have alter egos. They both are similar and mature. They both lost their parents to the Fire Nation, right? He mentioned these 3 things, right? But he didn't want to mention. But when it comes to May, he treats it as a bad thing. He treats it, they're both cynical, and he treats it as like, oh, okay, but that's a bad thing, you know. Let's run it back.
Zuko thus finds romance in May, but it's clear something is missing. She is a cynic like him. She doesn't compliment him in any meaningful way.
Well, make up your mind, my guy, bro. That's all I'm saying, bro. Like, if you're saying that these 2 people should get together because they are alike, but then when you mention May's a cynic like Zuko, and you thinking that they shouldn't be together, that's hypocrisy. That's hypocrisy. Sorry, hypocrisy. What the? That's hypocrisy, bro. Like I can't stand his arguments sometimes because he's not consistent, bro. And I know again I made an hour video about this one guy who made 20 minutes. It was probably just doing it for fun. And I'm not here to shit on again. I'm not here to shit on it, this bro. I'm pretty sure whether he's 12 or 23. Listen, bro. Like I have no problem with you, bro. Again, I have no problem with you. But like, you did not hit on any one of your points, and that's crazy. You had like one other. You had one point. You had the point that they both use masks and shit like that. But like that was it really. That's all I remember you being right about, bro. You can go back on my vid, on my VOD, whatever, and you can see how many points that you just got wrong, bro. Like you just try to recontextualize points, and it just didn't work, bro. Like, and it's just and this is only me like only 20-minute video about them. If someone made like an hour long video, you know how many points I could deconstruct, bro? Like this is just some floozy shit, bro. I ain't gonna lie, these points are some floozy shit.
She is too blinded by the propaganda of the Fire Nation. Zuko,
Another thing they have in common, another thing him and May have in common.
meanwhile, is tormented by his obvious inner turmoil. An inner turmoil that Katara was able to see and sympathize with in
Iroh was able to see it that too.
mere seconds of talking to Zuko.
And I'm pretty sure Aang was able to see that too, if you really want to get into it, but you know.
Zuko doesn't need depression in May.
But you argue that the reason why Katara and Zuko are the same is because their outlook on lives. So, depression in Katara is basically what you're saying. I could use that argument that you're saying this depression in Katara, and if you're not going to use the same thing with May, if you're going to use Katara, you don't have an argument right now because you're contradicting yourself. Yeah, why is that so hard to say? But anyway, I'm just trying to say you can't use one thing as good, and then when you use the same thing, you use it as bad this time because it's to benefit your argument. You have to stay consistent throughout your argument. And I'm just trying to say, like, you have made no good points. You made a point that was some surface level shit, but you made no good points. You were not spitting. I'm sorry, bro.
His whole life is already a tragedy. Zuko needs hope. He needs someone who can help him heal. Katara.
Iroh could do that. Aang could do that. A therapist could do that. Actually, May could do that too, if you really think about it, because she could understand. She could potentially understand Zuko. You know, she actually loves Zuko, so.
Also fares poorly in her romance with Aang. He's still a boy, and she still has to mother him. Sure.
Mother. Okay, so first it's a big sister. First, I mean, no, it's big sister. It was big sister for Sokka. Mother him. No, you acting like the nigga can't even like eat properly without Katara. That's not true. At worst, your point is she's a big sister for him. At worst, your point. And again, I already mentioned the amount of times that Katara has been immature, and Aang has been the mature one. We can even mention the one that you're about to mention about the Southern Air Raiders or whatever. The Southern Air Raiders, was that it? Or whatever. But the one about Katara, uh, basically in the in the episode where Katara and Zuko went on their little field trip together to track down the person who killed Katara's mom. Aang was the one who said Katara shouldn't go because revenge is not the way, and you're not gonna find anything you need, and it's not gonna end up how you think it is. You're not gonna end up any happier if you do this. It's just gonna end up hurting you more than it hurts anyone else. And he's gonna say this too, by the way. I'm not lying. He's gonna say this in this video. That at the end of the day, Aang was right. He was the mature one. But again, he wants to paint this picture like Aang's some 2-year-old kid, bro, from just sucking on his thumb or some shit like that. Like, no, it's not how it is. It's not how it is, bro. Aang is actually mature for his age, and probably one of the actually more mature ones after. Just because you like to have fun, you can have fun and be mature at the same time. I'm not saying Aang's always mature, always the most rational and non-childlike, but I'm saying that Aang has his moments, and Aang's underrated in maturity, and that Zuko and Katara are overrated in their maturity. Anger and depression and all this other stuff and stubbornness is not maturity, right? It's mature in if you balance it out, which is the whole point of Avatar. If you balance your anger out, you balance your stubbornness out. You be a little bit more flexible, but you don't yield to something that you don't need to yield to. You know what I'm saying, like that. But this is, and even in Tophin's case, right? So we have all these people who are immature. Like none people in Team Avatar are necessarily so grown up. We treat them like they're grown ups because they do grown up things. But really, these are still kids if we really think about it. Like these are still kids. You know, these are still kids. And Katara, even if you argue like, oh yeah, she's only 2 years apart, but she's like 10 years apart mentally. But I could argue the same with Zuko, right? I don't know how old Zuko is. I'm pretty sure he's around 15, maybe 16. He looks older, but he might be the same age. He might be like 14 or something like that, right? Not that's not necessarily like he because you say girls mature faster than boys, and uh that's the standard that we use, and it's true. But like at least to us, at least to current science standards, um, or science data, but doesn't mean Zuko is gonna be like leagues ahead above Aang or necessarily right for Katara. Even though I already proven that Katara doesn't actually isn't actually that mature after all.
He can dance and all, but he's still a child, and Katara doesn't need an immature lover. She spent her whole life being a mother to Sokka, and now Aang too.
Okay, first it was you say mother, then you say big sister, and I was like I get what you're saying, but I was like big sister. Maybe it's a nitpick, but like again, this scene actually highlights how immature Katara was because she literally put them in a spot of danger because of her anger. Like I'm not saying Sokka didn't deserve it. I'm not, but it was immature for her to act that way. I'm just saying.
Too? No. What Katara needs is a man who can take care of himself and is her equal.
Take care of himself? No, he couldn't. He literally almost died if it wasn't for Aang. It Aang if Zuko Aang saved Zuko's life on numerous occasions. Aang saved Zuko's life on numerous occasions. I don't know if you know this, bro. Zuko would not have done the same for Aang, bro. Oh my god, bro. I'm like gonna.
She doesn't need a man who sees clouds and rainbows and everything. She needs a man who, like her, sees that life is filled with
So, 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 like May, like Zuko did, like
angels and demons.
May could probably see both.
You see, Katara has a deep cancer of bitterness towards the Fire Nation, and she needs
Yeah.
something to help her let that go.
You mean like Aang, with his sunny disposition and his childlike attitude versus Katara's serious-like attitude? I'm just saying that would balance it out more than Zuko ever would.
Someone who can truly understand how she feels.
Aang could do that because his whole nation got lit up by the Fire Nation.
Because he's felt the same thing.
I'm just gonna...
So in a moment marked by the history books, Zuko forfeits the Fire Nation's ideology for good, and he leaves May to join Team Avatar. When Zuko comes back, seeking forgiveness, he proves himself to Team Avatar and even handsomely saves Katara, but she's not convinced.
From his own creation, he paid that, bruh. He paid Sparky Boom Boom Man, whatever it's called, Combustion Man. He paid Combustion Man to make sure that Aang was dead.
She has sworn him as the enemy, and she is not going to let it go. She even threatens Zuko to not hurt Aang, like the big sister that she is.
Yeah, that's what it was.
She needs to protect Aang, and she doesn't trust Zuko with his life. And honestly, you can't blame her. However, little do they both know that they are going to
Southern Air Raiders. Southern Raiders. It was not air. I don't know why it said air.
embark on a journey together. One where they grow together, proving how much they can learn by being with each other. Zuko still has a hard edge and believes in vengeance, and
But that's not the right way.
Katara is still filled with bitter anger towards the Fire Nation and Zuko. So what does Aang do when he sees this? He preaches about letting things go. Okay, Aang, but Katara and Zuko live in the real world.
No, they live in the world where the actions are dictated by revenge.
Is Aang right? Yeah, technically, but it's preachy.
Technically.
Yes, Aang
But it's
people
preachy.
to the cruelty of the Fire Nation, but he personally sees right through the lie that all firebenders are bad.
Yes.
You see, he's lived most of his life when the world was at peace. He lived in the Fire Nation and had Fire Nation friends.
Exactly. So he was one of the best to. You say that he needs both perspectives in order to help Katara. Aang has both perspectives. Aang has seen enough. Aang has seen his master die because not seen him die really, but know his master died because of the Fire Nations. Because of the Fire Nation. So I don't know what your point is, bro.
He had stability and security in his community of monks. For him, the life of trauma and of war is the exception,
Yes, it is the exception.
not the rule.
Listen, that point can go both ways. You can say it's the exception of war, but you can also say it's
Zuko and Katara? Well, war is all they've ever known. Where Aang had
so. You want someone who's also known, or they are known to help people, to help her with her the way she views life, because it's helpful to have people who have the same experience as you, who has been chasing you for years. That will help you to see things better and a new like outlook on life. Okay.
stability and security, Zuko and Katara grew up in chaos and in constant
Okay. Zuko has security at least, but I'll say I'll give you that a little bit. Like he was tormented. He was either emotionally or psychologically tormented by Azula in this.
danger. Zuko's dad intended to kill him in his sleep and was
That's
only
true.
spared because of his
That's true.
mother's sacrifice.
That's true. That's
With
true.
his mother gone, his sister was free to torment him.
That's
He
true.
was left to fight like a starving animal for his father's attention and love,
That's
neither
true.
of which he found in the shadow of his talented sister.
That's
To
true.
top it all off,
That's
his
true.
own father scarred him for life for the great sin of daring to show an ounce of compassion for Fire Nation's.
But I'm back to my point about like, hey, acting out without knowing the rules. Kind of immature thing to do. I'm not saying it was a bad thing to do. I'm saying it was immature.
Soldiers. And Katara? Well, she lost her mother and her dad because of the Fire Nation. As a little child, she found her mother's dead body on the floor of their home, burned to death by an act of cruelty. She then spent years bearing the burden of parenthood when it should have been Sokka to bear the burden. No one
Okay, no, it should have been no one to bear the burden because it shouldn't happen, by the way. But you're gonna make that point, and yeah, you could say soccer should have taken over, but I don't think they're that much different in age, so that really matters. And well, as much as Katara was his mother figure or sister figure, whatever it's called, Katara was still far away from being mature herself. So
wonder when Aang tries to tell them that love is the answer, it falls on deaf ears. There is no other
because he's mature.
arc where the two characters share the same immense growth than in this episode. Sure, Aang and Zuko learn cool Aztec Kung Fu, but Zuko and Katara learn that you must forgive those who are not guilty. They learn together that the world is filled with violence, and more
So what Aang was preaching, okay, but he's not mature, y'all. He's not mature. Remember, Aang's not mature.
senseless vigilante violence will not solve the problem.
Sorry
Yes,
about that, yeah.
Aang was right, but they
Yeah.
were only going to learn this lesson together.
Okay, but they could have listened to Aang, so that's I don't know.
But I am ready to forgive you.
Not only did the character arcs of Katara, Zuko, and Aang vastly improve from this, the Zutara ship, but May does as well. In an alternate universe, May, furious
So in an alternate universe.
and hurt that Zuko left, begins to ponder Zuko's forfeiture of Fire Nation ideology. She begins to see how she has been twisted by it her whole life. In her personal climactic arc, instead of sacrificing herself to Azula because she loves Zuko, she should have sacrificed herself for something more.
I mean, she did it for love, baby. No, I'm just kidding. That was good, but I don't necessarily think that's a bad thing. What May did, sacrifice for Zuko. She obviously cared about Zuko, and that's not a bad thing. Having to care about, having a, having the love for someone that May did is not a bad thing. Having to care for someone or care about someone is not a bad thing. You know what I'm saying? Like that. Like he's basically arguing. I could argue in my bad faith argument. I could argue that he's saying love is a bad thing, but the thing about love, especially in couple relationships, if you're talking about like just relationships in general, it's only a bad thing if they're not anything else outside of that relationship. But May was already something else outside of the relationship, and that relationship clearly impacted her for the better. So if you're telling me that something else impactful as love and May's relationship with Zuko is gonna impact May the same way as that relationship. Sorry, I meant like, let me clarify. So if May loves Zuko, what force, what thing is more powerful than that love for Zuko in May's life? What would make her change her mind more? Is there anything else? I'm serious because is he saying that the love was she shouldn't have done it out of love? I don't think that's a bad thing because if his love was able to convert her into something that was actually good, then wasn't that some good love? I know how I put it is weird, but wasn't that a good way of doing things? Like, I don't think using love to develop someone is a bad thing. Using love to see that, oh wait, I was wrong. Like, I don't think that was wrong, so bad, But that's just me.
She should have told Azula, "You miscalculated. I hate who I've become more than I fear you." You see,
I see
May
that,
should have realized what a monster the Fire Nation had made her out to be.
but she was only able to realize that because of Zuko, and and she would only she only realized because she loves Zuko, and it's like, wait a minute, this person I love is saying something. It's saying there's something wrong about the country that he grew up in. Maybe even if it's for the worst, I should give a look into it. I should look into it and really take some introspection. You know, it really takes inventory about my thoughts, my feelings, and the Fire Nation ways of life. And you know, if it's used to help develop May, then I don't see the problem here. That's just me.
This realization would have explained her general unhappiness in life. Her change should have been motivated by her resolution to resolve her
But how would she come apart? That just as he's skipping steps. How would she come apart? Sorry. How would she like know about that resolution? How would she come to that resolution? Come apart. What the fuck, boss? How would she come to that realization or that resolution without Zuko? Right? Because it's not like her political diplomatic parents were gonna tell her, right, that the Fire Nation is bad. Azula definitely wasn't gonna tell her the Fire Nation is bad. Ty Lee was gonna be like, okay, maybe, but not really. I don't know. I don't like it, but I'm not gonna say anything. You know what I'm saying? Like who was gonna tell her that the Fire Nation was bad? Like when the war is over, people are gonna tell her, "Oh wait, Fire Nation would be doing something wrong." And Zuko was the best candidate, and it was not even bad. It was solid.
satisfaction with herself and her life. It should not have been motivated by a teenage crush.
It was motivated by, you could say it was teenage crush, but it was still, even if you said it was teenage crush, it was still a good motivation. Like it was still a good motivation. Like I like.
So anyways, back to the real couple. Zuko and Katara agree to team up against Azula in the final climax. Katara goes with Zuko in a symbolic moment of what true love is. Katara is not just
No.
helping him defeat the second most dangerous threat to world peace, she is helping him defeat the trauma of his past.
Okay, listen. I see what he was doing, but no, the trauma of his mostly past is his father. Really, like his father, like you said, gave him that scar. Like as much as Azula did, and I'm not saying Azula didn't traumatize him. You could argue that Azula was there for him way more than his father ever was. I mean, Azula said that they defeated the Avatar together. Uh, I'll be honest, she's a crappy sister, obviously, but like, I think she might have done more than his father. I know it's a crappy argument. Uh, it's it's like neck and neck. Fight your son, banish him versus uh constantly torture your brother. It's like like I don't know, like it's the whole evil Olympics type shit. Like I don't know, like they're both not great. But to say that Azula was all his problems was Azula got defeated, like no. His problems was with his father and with his mother leaving. That was really it. Azula added on to that for sure. But to act like these two weren't the main reasons, What the main reason is preposterous. It's just you're having a bad faith argument again, whether you want to or not.
Zuko helped Katara with her trauma. Now it's time for her to help him. He initiates an Agni Kai despite Katara's initial hesitation. She places her faith in him though, and she watches close by as Zuko and Azula duke it out. For the first time ever though, Zuko now has the upper hand against his sister. He inches closer to beating her, proving that he is a better man now. He's so close to proving to himself that he doesn't need his messed up family's approval. He doesn't need them because he's found inner peace with himself. This, however,
That was a
all
cool
comes to a
move.
crashing halt when
Hold
Azula
on, can I
needs
just
them
say that
because
was a
he's
cool
found
ass
inner
move.
peace with himself.
He put it out. It was the
This,
coolest fight,
however,
honestly.
all comes to a crashing halt when Azula tries to kill Katara. The old Zuko might have let her take the hit. The old Zuko wanted to prove himself and would go to extremes to do so. The old Zuko might have seen that Azula was an equal threat as her father and must be defeated at all costs.
Yeah, but her father was probably the bigger threat. I would argue that Ozai was probably a bigger threat because even though Azula might have been a little bit more tactful, a little bit more I think Ozai had more of the chi or bending material or bending energy than Azula. I think he had more reserves than Azula, I would say. You know? I mean, Azula still struggled with this lightning bending, right? And Ozai was just popping that shit out. He had more training than Azula. So I would go with Ozai, but I would say it would be a good match. I ain't gonna lie, it would be a good match.
But this new Zuko, he is different. Instead of grasping the moment to finish Azula and her distraction, he sacrifices himself for Katara, taking the bait, knowing full well that she could still very well fail against Azula despite his sacrifice. After all, Azula is supercharged and has easily handled a lot of them before, even without Sozin's comet. And don't forget what's at stake here. If Katara and Zuko fell, then the war continues. The Fire Nation will not.
I mean, no and yes. Not really, because Aang, Toph, and them still beat Azula, no doubt. Yeah, Aang and Toph could definitely beat Azula, especially using the Avatar state. I don't know, no, and Iroh could have possibly taken Azula out. Iroh could possibly taken Azula out, especially in her state. So I mean, I'm not saying Azula wouldn't make it would be easy or something like that. I'm not saying Azula wouldn't make it easy. I'm just saying if I had an option whether who to choose, the Fire Lord or Azula, I'm choosing the Fire Lord to take out. We're taking the Fire Lord, right? Because if Azula had a much influence with the Fire Lord, I would say sure, you could argue them, but the Fire Lord was the key person to do that, and then you could have easily taken out Azula because it would just been more and more people be like Fire Lord. Oh shit, we in trouble. And then look at Azula Touchy unstable. It's easy pickings. I ain't gonna lie, it's easy pickings. I mean, slightly easy, but
Laid down with such a strong leader at the helm. By all available evidence, Azula is far craftier than her father. After all, Azula single-handedly conquered Ba Sing Se without losing a single firebender life. Sure, she was an insane at that time, but one could argue that an insane Azula is far more dangerous than a sane one. Could Avatar Aang stop her in a one-on-one duel? Absolutely.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Insane Azula looks a lot more like a parody of the Joker, avoiding detection in fights she can't win, while sowing chaos and
I would say it don't matter. Aang would still beat her. Aang would still beat her. So your point is
death in all the nations in a way her predecessors never could manage to do. Despite the stakes, Zuko places his faith in Katara and he takes the hit. After all,
I mean, yes and no. You could argue that he didn't really have a choice.
Love makes us do crazy things. Katara likely.
It's more like this because I guess it was. I don't think it was love. I just think it was I wanted to protect someone. I'm not gonna take another one. No.
Motivated by his sacrifice and determined to save him, finds a last-minute solution against an exhausted Azula and chains her down. Thus it is that only together as a power couple are they able to take down the second greatest threat to the world. And thus it is that only together are they able to help Zuko overcome the trauma of his past.
No, not really. Zuko still had to find his mother. So we see that even in the last scene of Avatar. Where's my mother? That was in there.
When she runs over to heal Zuko, we see her surprised face. She must be so used to healing Aang's skinny monk body, she isn't used to a body
Okay.
packed with
That's
muscle.
just a squawk.
It's in this moment she finally concludes that Zuko is the one for her. Katara heals him, and she and Zuko make out. She helps Zuko stand, and together they watch Azula lose her mind. Zuko has overcome his final obstacle to become the Fire Lord, and it was only because Katara was there to help him. Therefore, it only makes sense that the next rulers of the Fire Nation are the two of them, because help him. Therefore, it final obstacle to become the Fire Lord, and it was only because Katara was there to help him. Therefore, it only makes sense that the next rulers of the Fire Nation are the two of them, because it was together that they won the throne.
I mean, kind of, but they wanted one throne without Aang, so I still don't see the point.
Later, when Zuko is healing, struggling to put his jacket on, Katara walks in to help him. Wait, May walks in to help him. May, what? The problem is that the writers of the show refused to see the obvious.
No, it's just your dumbass points are just dumbasses. There's nothing. You got like I'm not gonna lie. Like if I were to count like whole points, you got two. You got two.
They
I have
couldn't
a
let go of
20-minute
what they
video.
had planned at the beginning of the story, or they didn't have the stones to put.
No. They have the sense not to do it because okay. Here's you want the real reason. Zuko takes Katara for 2 months. They only got together. They only had 3 moments together where Zuko was not killing Katara, and you said it yourself that Zuko was trying to kill Katara. So literally after that, one of the moments they had, I should exclude that moment from that because whatever that moment did for their relationship and progressing it into something other than a friendship or other than enemies was then for canceled out by Zuko trying to kill her. Then we have the episode right where they get it together, which Aang was right in, but you know whatever. And then they have the final ending time. Like technically technically you have 3 minutes, but sorry, technically you have 3 moments. But if I really would have counted, if I was really strict about it, you only have really two. Two. And if Aang had asked Kataro to help us follow it, he would have done it. But if it wasn't some bullshit about, or really not bullshit, about the Avatar defeating the Fire Lord on his own, because that's how it had to be. That's all it was, bro. It was his parents. I mean, y'all niggas got hyped over really 3 moments, really 2 moments because of what happened, bro. Man,
Katara and Zuko together. This is in essence what J.K. Rowling did with Hermione, Harry, and Ron.
no, it's not. No, it's not. J.K. Rowling had full control over the way she wrote her books and what shipped and who ended up with who. It was her fault that Ron ended up with Hermione. What he's saying is that the writers reneged on their original things that like Zuko like maybe I've seen a tweet from maybe I haven't seen tweets from the writers and saying that Zuko and Katara should end together. Maybe they do have tweets. Maybe I don't know. But as far as I know, they don't have tweets about it. And he's not bringing up anything about that, so I'm sure they don't have anything about Zuko and Katara should end up together. But J.K. Rowling did, and she had full creative control basically over Harry Potter and who ends up with who. In fact, most people, including myself, at one point wanted Harry to end up with Hermione. So I don't want to hear this shit. I don't want to hear it. It's not a comparison unless he shows me proof that there is that is a tweet or text that said from the creators of the show that Zuko and Katara should end up together is not even close.
She always wanted Hermione and Ron to end up together, and she forced them together even though it was obvious that they were a bad match. She later confessed that it should have been Hermione and Harry who ended up together because they were a much better couple.
But by that logic, by the way, you're basically saying the main character should end up with the main heroine. I'm just saying. You're basically saying the main character should end up with the main heroine. That's your argument, by the way. I want you to know.
Yes, May walks in, but we all know it should have been Katara.
No.
Sure, May has grown some, but she's still cynical and depressing.
But like, but that was the original point about Zuko.
She has work to do in her life, and she has not had the same life-changing experiences.
But not everybody does. Not everybody gets burned by their father. Or gets the Fire Nation, their village burned by the Fire Nation. It's yeah. That's just because someone hasn't had the same experience as me doesn't mean we shouldn't be together, right? This is like what like you want similarities for sure, but like you can have differences too and still make the relationship work.
That Zuko and Katara have had together. And Aang,
But Zuko's had one parent. You know, the difference is Zuko's had one parent get taken away by the Fire Nation, and that's really because she was trying to protect him. But he still had a family and an uncle that was around for most of his life. Katara had only Sokka, and her father went out to fight the war. So no dice. I'm sorry, no dice. And
Well-
Grand. Shout out Grand.
well, he's finally learned to let go of his love for Katara. He's matured enough to realize that his life is a life of duty.
No, it's not. I know we earlier it was about duty, but a lot of this shit is mostly about balance. I guarantee you. I guarantee you. And it's not so this is since the video is gonna end, and I'm about to quit because I've been talking for 2 hours. I didn't realize, but you know just how much I love Avatar. Um, to make my points clear and to re-summarize his points were: one, it's basically Aang's duty to sacrifice himself for Katara. Two, shall I? Oh, no, I'm gonna do this. Okay, one, his duty is for his. He wants Aang to sacrifice himself for Katara because that's his duty and shit like that. And the world needs it, and he can't reach the Avatar state without it, and blah 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 blah. Basically, that's number one. Why I refute that is because Avatar is mostly about balance and not about sacrifice or duty. I'm not gonna say that it's not about sacrifice. I'm saying I would put balance over sacrifice and duty in terms of themes for Avatar. That's all I'm saying. I would put balance at number one, and you could put sacrifice and duty at 2 and 3, but balance is number one. So that being said, in the name of balance, if I were to say if we were to agree on that, and you don't have to agree on this, but if we were to agree on that, right? Then we would have to agree on that Aang not getting Katara and not being able to repopulate his the air nomad tribe. The air nomads, sorry, not the air nomad tribe, nomads tribe. Okay, the air nomads wouldn't be in the name of balance. Also, Aang being the Avatar, being the balance between the spiritual and the physical, losing one of his most intimate relationships would be in the opposite side of balance, would be against the theme of balance, right? So that's my argument for number one. Number two, he argues political reasons, and the political reasons are that because Katara is such a strong waterbender healer, and the world needs a symbol of the unification between the nations, or at least the nations of water and fire for some reason. I would argue that one, the relationship between Aang and Zuko is much more important than any relationship Katara and Zuko could have together. Also, two, that there's also two teams, Team Avatar and the White Lotus, that are way more, that show unification way more than any other marriage between Katara and Zuko could show. And that's my two. I had a third one, but I forgot it. I ain't gonna lie. I forgot it. And then three, romantic reasons that Zuko and Katara are way more similar to each other, have way more in common than Aang, and Aang is immature. Zuko and Katara have way more in common than Aang. They're way more mature, and they have the same basically outlooks on life. And I say that both Zuko and Katara have moments of immaturity, and he said throughout the series. I'm saying that there are multiple moments in the series where these people are not mature. All right, they might do the right thing sometimes, but that doesn't make them mature. All right, not necessarily. Mature thing to do is go by the system even better than the bad guys that we proclaim to be protecting people from. Right. So that's one. One, two. So that's one of my reasons. Two, that Aang is not mature, and that hey, that Aang he has shown Aang's maturity by in the Southern Raiders episode when Katara when they revenge when Zuko Katara said no revenge is the way, and Aang was like no revenge is not the way, revenge is not the way. You know what I'm saying? Like that's what he said, right? He even admitted that Aang was right, so that Aang could be mature. Aang is also to advise people. He has worked within systems. Remember when he got caught on Kyoshi Day on the Kyoshi Day episode, he didn't fight back. He said, "Okay, let me go by your judicial system because I'm not trying to fight you. I'm gonna fight fair. I'm gonna fight on your grounds and shit like that." He was mature about that. He didn't really try to whine his way out of that one. Even though he could have, like, has Sokka said it, airbending slice and then we're out of here. You know, something like that. Like, wah. Airbending slice and then we're out of here. So even Sokka pointed that out. And he wanted to go through the trials of the people because even for something that he didn't necessarily do, it was for his predecessor, I guess you can call it. Another him, his spiritual predecessor, his spiritual equivalent. I'm the same. So, and three, the way the outlook of life, I would say like one that Zuko and May have the same outlook on life, and he makes I don't know why he makes the exception. So when Tara and Zuko have the same outlook on life, it's a positive. But when May and Zuko have the same outlook on life, it's a negative. So he's not consistent in that. And two, I would argue that, or two would be or whatever. Secondly, I would argue the fact that Aang's outlook on life being so childlike and positive is good for Katara because then that will balance them out, you know, because she needs someone who looks at things brightly. If she looks at things ever so cynical, you know, things in another way, some optimism. So that's just me. So I thank y'all for being here. I know my voice. I know it was long. I know my voice kind of squeaked and squawked or whatever. But I appreciate y'all for being here. Hope you enjoyed the video. I probably won't do a video this long for a long time because now my voice is gonna hurt for another day. But I do appreciate you being here with me, even if you just give it a quick like, a quick subscribe, or a 2 second visit because I didn't mean it to be this long. Maybe I'll cut it up, make it nice and pretty. Maybe I won't. I don't know. It's a 2 hour video, so it's like I don't know what I'm gonna do with it. But remember, I'm just gonna put my points. I'll probably put slides like what are my points and what is his points and shit like that. But whatever, bro. So I would like to thank y'all for being there. Hope you can like, share, comment, subscribe. If you Zutara or Kang or don't even care, don't give a fuck. What I should do next on animation, or cartoons or comments or whatever, bro. Like it don't matter, bro. But I'll be doing that. So I still have some stuff, you know, for the future and for tomorrow, but mostly, um, yeah, I appreciate any ideas about that those around those topics. But thank you for watching, and I'm out.